Florida State might have done even better in that first half. Stanislav, option play is not going to work here. McIntosh is just all over it.
See, here again, you're now 2nd and 15 again. I think what Mac Brown, just looking at it a little bit, North Carolina in the first down situations ran on 12 of their first downs. They opened up the second half running on first down. They're going to have to get a little bit more mixed. They're going to have to throw some play-action passes on first down to get this defense to so that they can respect the pass on first down.
Curtis Johnson, the tailback. Here they come with the option. Stanislav with the pitch, and they are very fortunate. They were coming back to the boundary side because it went out of bounds.
Well, the option has to be a key for North Carolina. In the first half, they ran the fullback on the dive 6 times for 15 yards. The second phase is the quarterback keep. He has not been successful. 2 carries, 4 yards. Here's where they've been successful. When they get the pitch out, 74 yards on 7 carries. And the fourth option is the deep throw, 2 out of 3 for 3 yards. But remember, they missed Brooks on the long touchdown pass. It's there. They just have to complete it.
Third down to the line to make is their own 30. Stanislav gets belted as he throws the pass, and that is awfully nice work by Ken Alexander, who will make the stop, number 36, after the pass was completed. And now Florida State stands to get very good field position.
Tyron Marion, number 86, with the pressure on Jason Stanislav. But you're right, Ron. Good field position by Florida State. They dominated first down again. Get them in long yardage situation. That's been the game plan for Mickey Andrews and his defense.
Seminoles with a 10-man rush. Thomas gets his punt away. Fair catch at the 48.5-yard line by Corey Sawyer. Wonder what that man said at halftime. I asked him yesterday, Mike, as you look at the numbers on Charlie, 17 of 28, 187, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. I said, Bobby, are you one of those that gives the fire and brimstone talk before the ball game? And he said, no, regardless of the situation. He said, I normally say that for halftime when it's either closer or trailing. But he gives a pretty good one, too. Sean Jackson to the right side. Will break off a tackle and wind up with a gain of close to 5.
The game plan of North Carolina is to force the 12-yard and under throws, not give him anything deep, and that's what they've done. They've been able to break up, make the tackles on the play. They played well in the first half. The second half, I look for them to go to a little bit more man coverage underneath on Charlie Ward's receivers.
Mike, while we're on the graphic here, somebody lost their cool across the way and a flag went high in the air. And the discussion is going on right now, right in front of the Florida State bench.
We have 2 dead ball fouls. Dead ball foul on the offense, dead ball foul on the defense.
Question, was it after the play? It is. It's second down. Top of your screen, you see both players. 44, William Floyd involved. Number 91, Troy Barnett from North Carolina.
Feeling, Mike, that we're going to see Florida State try to do that right there and establish a running game in the second half, which they didn't do in the first half.
I've talked about the box in the first half, what Charlie Ward's looking at. Charlie Ward is counting the defenders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right here. He decides to go to the run here because North Carolina moved up late. They were in 6. They jumped to 7. They confused him a little bit on that play. That's inside the tackles. That's the box. You count the defenders. 6, you run the ball. 7, you throw it.
Pass is complete, and he'll have the first down, Kevin Knox.
so much offense. The Florida State coaches talked to Nebraska after the bowl game, the defensive coaches in Nebraska, and they said, you run so much offense, we couldn't practice for everything. And that's the problems they present you when you play them.
And the other side of that, Mike, is even if you have time to do all that, you probably still can't do it at the same speed that Florida State does it with.
And you don't have number 17 showing it to you all week.
That's right. Jinks it over the middle. He got him there and complete at the 5, and Knoxville score. .33 yards.
They've been in big games. They're not going to crack. They've been in so many big games. Charlie Ward with the throw to Kevin Knox for a touchdown.
So let's take a break. 17-7. Number 1 Florida State beginning to roll.
This is the offer.
We've been watching down there, and Mike Thomas, the sophomore from Hamlet, North Carolina, who we've seen handling the punting chores tonight, has been warming up. So we'll look for him to come in at quarterback.
He's a good quarterback.
Big, strong kid, 6'2", 225. Wall 5 yards deep. He won't return this one.
North Carolina trying to change their defense. Man coverage. Kevin Knox, number 81. Now here's the key for Florida State's receivers. So stop it right here. He's 6'3", 200 going against Sean Crocker, 5'10", 195. The advantage to the big receiver, and then the yardage after the catch.
There's a good look at Mike. The numbers on him this year, 6 of 11. No interceptions, 111 yards, and 1 touchdown. Henderson, the ball carrier, but the whistle before the snap. And this happens with the new cadence.
Well, now what Mac Brown's thinking is you bring in a relief pitcher. Jason Stanisak didn't play that bad, but he needs a little spurt right now. So he's going to go to a second quarterback who really was a starter last year.
We have all sides on the defense.
Let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian? So as North Carolina tries a few more pieces to the puzzle, we'll see if it works. Down 17-7 now. Curtis Johnson will take it across the 26-yard line. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 4 as they need the 30. Derrick Alexander, the man getting off the bottom of the stack.
Florida State defensively now may think that by Mike Thomas coming into the football game, you get more of a power running game and a pass game. So they may try to gang the line of scrimmage now with their 8-man front.
Leon Johnson, the freshman from Morgantown, North Carolina, number 12, is at tailback. Thomas keeps it on to the 33-yard line, and that's plenty enough for the first down as Derrick Brooks makes a stop on him.
Derrick Brooks, number 10, the linebacker on the outside, has to play off a blocker. He just throws him to the ground, comes back and makes the tackle on Mike Thomas. What an active linebacker, Derrick Brooks, 6'1", 220. Tough to block him out of Pensacola, Florida.
Leon Johnson for short yardage. Mike Tirico, what do you have for us? It's a high in the Sandias is what it is. Oh my. 2nd down, and they need the 43-yard line. Option to the open side, and there's not going to be much there this time. That's Ken Alexander who grabs him and knocks him down. Ken actually kind of been playing in the shadow of Marvin Jones, and he's one of the players that has really stepped up. He's a senior out of Austin, Texas, number 36.
Austin, Texas, your hometown. Watch the linebackers, but watch the defensive line. See the linebackers, they're not waiting. Number 10 set that play up, Derrick Brooks, the outside linebacker, then Ken Alexander. There is no option when you come across the line of scrimmage like that. But again, North Carolina's going to have to hold those linebackers with the play action fake.
It's third down and 8. Golly, and I think the 25-second clock got him. Yep.
Two things got him, right, Ron? The 25-second clock and the movement of the defense.
Dead ball, delay on the offense, 5 yards, still third down.
Mike Thomas was on the sideline the first half, so he didn't see the shift of the defense. You can see it from the sideline, but until you get under center, it's a little different. Florida State jumped in the 8-man front. Mickey Andrews with a good defensive call. He was trying to check off, just a little late.
Zings it over the middle, intercepted. Richard Coase finally pushed out of bounds at the 25, and it's a 29-yard return on the interception.
Florida State is so good on defense that in predictable situations they gain another edge. They're not only athletic, but when they go to heavy coverages. There's Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator. He was in on the Houston job last year. But what they're doing now is you play heavy coverage on third down. Your best down to throw against Florida State is the first down. Good pressure. You can see the defensive coverage. There's the linebacker first with a tip, Ken Alexander. Now Richard Coase, number 16, with a pickoff on the deflection, and such a good athlete. He brings it right back down the field.
Mike, I think this is Corey Sawyer, who was injured on the play. And we mentioned early on that he has had a hip pointer. I don't know if it's that same thing or not. He's up under his own power and is going off the field now, though. That's good to see. So North Carolina with another turnover. In the first half, they had only one, but it cost them 3 points. And now you give this Florida State football team 1st and 10 at your 20-yard line. That's a real bad bet.
And they're back in with William Floyd again, number 44, the fullback. So they've got the run-pass option. Either go to shotgun or stay in the eye.
Also 22, Marquette Smith, the tailback. He gets the pitch. Good block out front, but that is a nice job defensively by 26, Sean Crocker.
There's some good blocks, especially by William Floyd, but you're right. Sean Crocker just came up and did not allow Marquette Smith to make a move to try to get away from him. Marquette Smith, number 22, one-on-one in the secondary. Tries to give a little juke move, but Sean Crocker says, you're going down.
You know, William Floyd's going to get a good job one day playing on Sundays. He's like having another guard out there. He really does enjoy blocking, doesn't he?
He's the key to this offense other than Charlie Ward, because he allows you to do some different things. He allows you to run the football, but he's also a good pass receiver.
Play action. Good fake by Ward. Gets it back in the throwback to Lonnie Johnson to the big tight end inside the 10. Adrian Karsten, let's throw it to you.
Quickly about Corey Sawyer, Ron, good news for Florida State. Cramping in his left calf. No more problem with that hip pointer. He should be back shortly.
That's good. That's good. We mentioned the heat. Probably will not be the last case that we have tonight of people cramping. Very, very humid in Chapel Hill. Charlie Ward now has 20 completions on the evening. And Mike, of the 20 completions, Ward has hit 8 different receivers. Far side of the field, just underthrown. Kevin Knox is the man he wanted.
We talked about the fatigue factor of playing the no huddle, but another important factor on the fatigue is look how many players that Florida State has played on offense alone with 54 or more plays in the ball games that they've played already. Bobby Bowden's idea when he recruits them is, hey, come on in here, you're going to play. We play 2 teams on both sides of the ball. So what you do on offense, it's your 22 versus the defense 11.
I mentioned in the first half, he said that yesterday. I said, boy, I hope it's not this humid. He said, no, I do. We played a lot of people. Marquette Smith with a very nice cut. You could see that they had brought up from the secondary an extra person in Walker, and he just ran away from it.
Marquette Smith behind the goalpost. The handoff and watch his cut. He tries to break backside, gives a little move, now breaks inside. Kerry Mack, number 57, with a tackle.
Third down, Florida State. Goal to go. Got him open. Caught it out of bounds. Hez McCorvey.
That was close, Ron, whether he was in or not. Charlie Ward just led him a little bit too far, but it was close whether he's in. Let's see.
Yeah,
now,
he stepped right on the
call.
inline.
Good call.
Student took a big chance right there. Watch this come into, there's an object that comes into the screen. It was thrown from right there on the sideline at him. Wouldn't have mattered as far as if he caught it in bounds or not. But if you're part of the field of play, you can get a penalty as well, right? Bentley with the field goal attempt at 21 yards. He knocks it home. So 2 turnovers have caused 2 field goals to North Carolina. 20-7 our new score. We'll be right back.
Florida State 20, Carolina 7.
State Farm presents.
Key play on that series right there.
Third and long yardage. Mike Thomas with the throw. It's deflected by Ken Alexander. An interception and a costly one because you cannot allow Charlie Ward to have that football inside the 50 on a turnover.
This is what you give Florida State, a situation like that, and it's like walking into water that holds piranha. Marcus Wall, number 14, and sophomore out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, is back deep.
Piranha will smell blood, right? They go after it?
Yeah. What about the Johnson boys tonight? We talked a lot about them coming into the telecast. Leon, 5 carries, 11 yards. Curtis, 8 carries, 36 for a total of only 47 yards tonight. Wall's going to return this one.
Mike Thomas runs on the field. First down has been a key all night for North Carolina because they haven't had success. 14 runs on first down, 2 passes. They need a play-action pass badly on this drive right now. It's 1st and 10. Right now, you have to get mixed in your offense if you want to come back in this ball game. Hold the linebackers.
Leon Johnson. And then James Roberson, junior from Lake Wales, Florida, number 47, the first man there to corral him. And back to the point that Mike made in the first half. When you make them commit and you get the pitch that quickly, then it's no more than a pitch play.
Oh, missed. Killer. Vanderbilt.
Billy Brewer looking for some offense. Defensively, they're a good football team. Henderson, and let's go down once again to Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, from the Carolina side, the Tar Heel defense getting an earful about 2 things. First of all, nowhere near the intensity this team had when they came on the field to start the game. Secondly, they're being told that they've got to contain Ward. When he gets to the outside, they give him way too much time to make a decision to either run or pass.
Well, Adrian, what they're confronted with right now is, again, the predictable situation. 3rd down and long to have to throw. If it's not there, don't throw it. It cost them the interception the last time.
Not good to be in a 3rd and long against this bunch.
Pressure up the middle, and he's close. Not going to have the first down. I mean, just a little bit of a body lean. Holiday caught it, and Corey Sawyer wouldn't let him go.
The thinking of the offense is that you want to stay in the ball game. You want to stay close with them and a chance to win in the fourth quarter. But North Carolina really has to make something happen. This is not the time to go fourth down.
No, and a lot of the crowd.
Yeah, they don't have to do two things. They don't have to call it, and they don't have to run it because this Florida State defense, too much respect for them. Try to draw them offside somehow, but punt the football.
With Mike Thomas, who has been in at quarterback, is the punter. He'll handle it. Pressure up the middle this time, and they almost got some, and they have roughed the kicker. Sorry, you're down at the 33-yard line, but Carolina's going to get a reprieve. Mac Knight, I believe, is the guy that ran into him.
Is that Mac the Knight?
Not this time. Not quite that slick and clean.
Yeah, roughing the kicker on the defense. That's an automatic first down, 15 yards.
Mac better hide on the sideline because somebody's going to take a knife to him. Florida State trying to put North Carolina away. Number 19, Mac Knight, runs right into Mike Thomas. You give him a point on the punt. You always check the punter to see where he ends up kicking the ball, how deep, and then you put a towel down and you practice taking the ball off the punter's foot at that yardage mark. You don't go any further up, and Mac Knight just made a mistake and got too deep.
20-7 our score. 4:23 left in the third quarter. We will remind you, don't dare go away, because immediately following this one, we'll be heading out to Palo Alto, California. Colorado comes calling against the Stanford Cardinal. Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson standing by for that one out on the coast. The over the middle tip and almost intercepted by Florida State. James Colsey had a shot at it after the tip.
That's a down to throw because it's wide open. Mike Thomas has this pass open. He just does not throw it on the money. See how open Bucky Brooks, number 7, is? The ball is just way behind him. Maybe a screen, draw, some kind of shovel draw here to slow down the rush. Because you don't want to get one-dimensional against this group either.
You better be bilingual, huh? What a catch. Nope, they're going to say couldn't hold on. Dragged along, went parallel to the ground.
That looked like a great catch. They have a better view than we have. Greg DeLong, 85, is going to release inside. Now break to the corner. Just a little corner route. Now I think a good call. Ron, if they make mistakes, we'll tell them, but I think they made a good call again, the officials. They're right on this. Yeah. Ball bounced. Greg DeLong really stretched out, try to bring it back in.
Good effort by DeLong. Very good one.
Mac's still fighting. He's getting ready for the next call. That one's gone.
Third down, and they need the 46 of Florida State. Look at the pressure. Gets away, and it's intercepted. Derrick Brooks is going to take it the distance for the touchdown. 49 yards.
Third down's tough down to throw against Florida State. That's his third touchdown round. He's now outscored, not taking the extra points, of course, but he's now outscored all of Florida State's opponents, 18-14 himself. See him sitting there. Now he sees the back out of the backfield, just breaks on the football. Now he looks like a running back to me here. He's just striding out calmly, coolly, athletically to the end zone. That's his third touchdown this year.
You know, Mike, we mentioned in the first half that his weight is now up to 226, but they still timed him at 4.41.
You're right, and I heard Bobby Bowden with the thing the other day. He says our defensive players all listen when Derrick Brooks talks. He said, matter of fact, I listen to him when he talks.
So let's take a break. 27-7. Florida State has blown this one open. In more than 40 cities and 20 states across the country, and we're very pleased that they're with us tonight to give us these beautiful pictures of Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Bentley's kick return this one from the 1. Now the defense comes back out on the field, and Brooks, well, we talked about Derrick a lot off the top of the telecast. Look at this. He has now outscored the Florida State opponents this year.
Well, that's not quite accurate, though. He didn't kick the extra points, although I'm not sure he can. He can do everything else. But
you wouldn't question it, would you?
No, he'll go in and kick them. But he is responsible for 3 touchdowns. He'll probably be a strong safety in the pros, although I'm not sure he can't play linebacker in the pros.
It's Curtis Johnson straight ahead with the running play, and just short yardage again on first down. Well, there might be some North Carolina people who would question the move, taking out Jason Stanisiak and putting in Mike Thomas. But my guess is the coaching staff just thought that they needed a jump start.
They needed a relief pitcher. They needed somebody to come in and get something moving. But Mike Thomas has thrown 2 interceptions. It's kind of backfired, but it still was a good decision.
James in the pocket. That ball is tipped, and that one was almost intercepted. And let's get a report from Adrian Karsten.
Well, Ron, you and Mike are absolutely right. They definitely needed a jump start, but know this. Jason Stanisiak had suffered close to the end of the first half a deep bruise to his right shoulder. That's his throwing arm. He is now having trouble raising that hand above the level of his head.
That's a good point by Adrian, because when you run the option, you better have 2 quarterbacks, because you're going to get one hit, and he may have got hit on one of those options, so that's why Mike Thomas is in.
Of course, they still got more than they can say grace over in thinking about Florida State tonight, but they got NC State next week. Quarterback draw. Derrick Alexander steps up to make the hit. And it is 4th down and punting time again.
We talked about fatigue, in North Carolina, I believe, is suffering a little fatigue. Here's the depth chart of 54 players or more by the defense. Look at all the players they have. The 2 at every position except the right defensive end. They wear you down. And there's a bunch more. There's about 30 more that have about 10 to 20 plays. So it's their 35 on. They've got some pretty good players.
Sawyer retreats to the 33. 42 yards on that kick. Well, tomorrow, mark this down on your calendar every week. NFL Game Day, the best way to get ready for Sunday's games. And the top... Jackson, straight ahead. That's a tough couple of yards, as he'll be stopped just shy of the 40-yard line.
Ron, there's no substitute for being there, being in a big ball game. They were calling it this week the game of the century here in North Carolina. Clifton Abraham says, I've been here for 3 years. I've already been in 3 games of the century, and we're only in 1993. There's 7 more years to go for Miami. But there's no substitute for being in a big game. North Carolina will be better the next time they have the big ball game like this.
And, of course, you said Miami meant that the games against Miami were the ones that were called a game of the century. Under the protection for Charlie Ward. Fryer gets a block, and then it's going to be knocked down hard at the 41-yard line. So that only nets about 1 yard.
And when they play Notre Dame, that'll be the game of the century. When they play Miami again, that'll be another game of the century. They're that type of team. They're playing for the national championship every year.
Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, Adrian Karsten, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Glad to have you along for CFA Primetime. The #1 team in the nation fell behind tonight by the biggest margin they've trailed since, 3 years ago. Right now they lead by 20. Zings it complete at the 50, and that's enough for the first down as Vanover is there to make the stop.
You notice they haven't been able to sack him. You can't get to him. Charlie Ward sits back there in the pocket. If you're going to play Florida State, I think you have to do one thing. When they go to the spread offense and the no huddle, I'd rush 1 player and defend with 10. I'd make him beat me throwing through 10 players. He doesn't want to run the ball. He will run it, but I'd make him beat me throwing through 10. Now, when they bring a fullback in the game, you've got to come into a conventional defense.
Vanover, 5 catches, 46 yards. good fake. Back over the middle, and because of the ad-lib, the receiver, Kez McCorvey, comes up to make the reception. Now it's turned over. And Bernardo Harris has the football for North Carolina. Fourth turnover by Florida State.
You made an excellent point. Kez McCorvey never gave up on the route. And I was just talking about Charlie Ward really doesn't want to run the football. He wants to throw it. He has an opportunity to run right here. He dodges. Now Kez McCorvey keeps working. As a receiver comes open, just gets a tackle by Bracy Walker and fumbles the football.
There is a smash right there as Mike Thomas brings it toward the short side of the field. You know, Mike, one of the things you can take away from this one tonight, and Florida State will be the first to admit it to you, is that this North Carolina secondary now will come up and really grab you. They'll hit you good.
Second and 10 at the 38.
Bracy Walker has earned his nickname Novocaine tonight because he has really put some sticks on him. Made some good hits in the secondary.
Ethan Albright is the player who has now tallied 27 unanswered. Watch what happened here at the end of this play. That's Enzo Armella, who came in and shoved quarterback Mike Thomas. Now watch what happens on the sideline.
Chuck Amato, who's a graduate of North Carolina State, he's telling him, don't you ever do that again. Ever.
Could have cost him 15 yards. And what he's saying is we've got momentum, field position. We're getting it back every time because we're stopping them. Don't be selfish and cause 15 yards. Was he inbounds? Yes. Corey Holiday.
When you talk about all the good athletes here, the recruiting success, Ronnie Cottrell's a recruiting coordinator. He told me the other day 3 reasons for recruiting success at Florida State: security of Bobby Bowden, success of the program, and the stability of the coaching staff. He's only lost one coach in 10 years, assistant.
If they don't want to leave, this running play will go for absolutely nothing. And speaking to Bronny, he is down on the sideline with Adrian Carson right now. Adrian?
Well, Ron, thanks very much. 27 unanswered points. I think we're seeing the depth of Florida State come to light here. You know, you lose Marvin Jones and 4 others to the draft this past April. Still, you call this the deepest team in Florida State history. How can you do that?
Well, I don't know if it's the deepest team. It's certainly a fine football team. A lot of guys have waited their turn, and it's a very unselfish team, and just very proud of the defense the way they pulled this thing around tonight.
Ronnie, you can afford to recruit the top 2% to college football of high school football players in the nation. Mack Brown calls this maybe the best college football team ever. Is that accurate?
Well, I don't know if it's the best team or not, but it's certainly a fine team. What it is a group of guys that chose to come to Florida State for some other reason than playing time necessarily. And they're just doing a great job. Great people like Derrick Brooks and Marquette Smith and Matt Fryer, those type guys.
Particularly the guys on defense. We watched this most recent sack. Do you think you take away your first team, the 2 and 3 deep, you still got a top 10, top 15 team, Ronnie?
Well, I don't know about that either. I think we've got a great football team. Our 9 coaches have done an excellent job recruiting, and I think they probably do as good a job as anybody evaluating talent. And, of course, we've got the best college head football coach, I think, in America, and just a lot of things are going good for us right now. We're proud to be a part of that.
Ronnie, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Adrian. As a marker comes in, the 6th sack of the night by Florida State. This time it was Coward and Todrick McIntosh. By the way, Mike, in the 3rd quarter, Florida State held North Carolina to 7 yards rushing in the quarter.
Total domination. Chris Coward, now he's a backup defensive end. He has had 2 sacks in a row, but he's fresh.
We have holding on the offense. The penalty is refused. The 4th down.
Ron, he replaced Derrick Brooks, number 93, and you see Mack Brown. He knows he's up against a tough ball club, and he's got North Carolina State, which you talked about, next week.
And that's a team he hasn't beaten, Mike.
It's a team he hasn't beaten, and North Carolina State had an open date, so they prepared for North Carolina for 2 weeks. So the advantage is North Carolina State's, and it's at North Carolina State.
13 minutes and 29 seconds left in this one. Florida State 27-7. And let's take the defensive numbers a little bit further. We mentioned that they had only 7 in the third quarter. With these sacks here in the fourth, North Carolina is now -8 rushing for the second half. Sawyer from the 23, and that's good coverage for the Tar Heels. Steinbacher there to make the stop. 44 yards in the punt. Let's take a break.
What a game plan by Mickey Andrews. Good defensive, solid effort by his defense tonight.
Straight ahead with the fullback, and William Floyd muscles off a couple of people and then is going to be pushed back at the 27. We'll take a look at these numbers. You talk about a reversal, Mike.
Third quarter, North Carolina just couldn't get anything going on offense. Florida State dominated once they came out of the locker room in the second half.
See the blitz coming, and back over the middle, Lonnie Johnson. And the tight end will have it well shy of the first down.
When you defend Florida State, they're making you defend the width of the field and the length of the field because they have so much speed going down the length of the field and the width of the field by their formation. So they really spread you out. They told me that they watched North Carolina against Southern Cal. Southern Cal played the two-back offense. North Carolina was able to get real physical with Southern Cal. They didn't want that tonight. They wanted to spread them out.
Complete, and it is going to depend on the spot. Kes McCorvey, I believe, is going to have the first down.
Thank you.
McCorvey now 6 catches for 74 yards.
It's frustrating as a defensive lineman to keep chasing number 17, Charlie Ward, because you never get to him. Just avoids the rush, has a knack for it.
Sean Jackson, good change of direction, and Adrian Karsten. Let's go back to him for an update.
Ron, pretty impressive performance by the Heisman Trophy candidate Charlie Ward tonight, but he's satisfied people know of his athletic ability, but consider this man's accomplishment off the field. Already has his degree in therapeutic recreation. This summer he worked with stroke victims and amputees at a Tallahassee hospital. Says that made him look at life from kind of a different point of view. He could lose this all in just one play.
Adrian, probably the most impressive thing about Charlie, who is just a great kid, is he would like to leave his mark away from football as well as on the football field, and basketball for that matter. That's William Floyd, and that's the point Mike was making. He'd like to use him as a receiver as well. It is important to him that he make a statement with his life, something other than athletics. And a lot of kids are tunnel vision. They don't go about it that way. I think that says just a heck of a lot about this young fella here.
Coaches have a way of using words to describe athletes, and now the word is special. And Charlie Ward is special. He's a special athlete. I think he's a special person, and he shows leadership to his team on every play.
Pressure up the middle. Charlie's going to run it. He's got the first down and a lot more. Now goes down at the 30-yard line. Well, let's further the thought that we had a moment ago. Charlie talked with us yesterday, in fact, about a better understanding of his own good fortune after that summer job.
I'm very grateful that I'm in that position because a lot of people know who I am, and not just the fact that they know who I am, but I just want to leave another impression on them, not because, just because I'm a football player, a basketball player, athlete, but I want to leave that I am a helpful person, and also I like to help those who aren't as fortunate as I am.
Charlie Ward got the first down, and Sean Jackson on the sweep this time. By the way, speaking of Charlie, looking at the numbers, this is the first time that he's played in the fourth quarter this year because they have blown everybody out so badly.
This will probably be his last series, or could be his last series tonight. When you call plays with a quarterback and an offense like Charlie Ward, sometimes bad plays turn into some big gains. You see the signal going out to Charlie Ward. Now, it's the information to his other teammates. He makes it go.
Pitch, and now the reverse. This is Vanover. Inside the 5-yard line. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Yeah, Charlie Ward Jr., not a bad athlete, I should say, run, but the folks back in Thomasville say you should have seen his daddy. Charles Ward Sr. played quarterback at Florida A&M in '59. Had a broken leg. Put him in the backfield, shared time with a guy named Bob Hayes. Hayes was on the first unit called Blood. Ward on the second unit called Sweat. The only tears shed is when Charlie Ward Sr. blew out his knee second to last game of his senior year. Crying shame.
Okay, Adrian. 27-7 our score with 8:30 left in the ball game, and Florida State, if you joined us late, they trail 7-0, and then they have come on with a vengeance. Turn ahead, and the fullback William Floyd will get the 6-pointer.
Brings the score to Florida State 33, Carolina 7.
Second touchdown for Floyd this year.
They've made a believer of me tonight. They have a good football team. Both sides of the ball, special teams are solid. This is a complete football team with a great leader in number 17, Charlie Ward.
Bentley with the extra point attempt. My gosh, he missed it. So let's take a look at the touchdown run one more time. Second touchdown of the year by number 44, William Floyd. I said yesterday, this young fella is so good and going to be a great one. Already is awfully good. But it bothers his head coach no end that he is missing extra points.
He's here for one game. You get him ready for the game with Miami.
Bobby Bowden, yesterday afternoon, as his team did their walkthrough and we talked about it, and he said, I don't mind telling you that that the extra point stuff just, there he is. He's talking to him right now.
Missed 6 extra points this year, 40 for 40.
There are a couple were blocked, and in the mud at Duke, that was just really tough conditions to kick in. But there have been 3 that he's just missed. Pressure. Gets one block. There's still just flying bodies all over the place, and Michael Thomas is going to run.
You talk about Scott Bentley. I think the play that made him at Florida State was the play against Clemson when he ran down the block kick for the 2-point. I think the defensive players and everybody accepted him at that point because they knew he didn't give up on that. He made the play, and I think that made him a genuine part of this football team. They have a lot of respect for him.
And let's go to Mike Tirico and get an update from him. Mike?
Ron.
Big hit at the line of scrimmage on Leon Johnson. Johnson and Johnson, for the most part, have been shut out tonight as far as anything that really was a run of note or something to turn the ball game.
Had a couple big plays on the pitch early in the game, but then Florida State just removed the pitch.
Yeah.
They decided to, hey, you're going to hurt us, you're going to run with the quarterback.
See, check this out. 147 last week, 38 tonight. And for Leon, 101. And tonight, only 11 for him. Got it complete. Corey Holiday. Ball comes loose, but he was down. That's 3 catches for him now. Hey, what else Carolina has done for the Carolina faithful? They got a really good recruiting class this year, Mike. And of the 20 players that they got, they're not using any of it. And they'll all be set to go. They'll plug them in next year. So that's the kind of rotation you look for. Most teams are not able to do that.
No, they have to play them right away. And they built depth up. I mean, they're just improving all the time. Mac Brown talked about it. He said, Florida State's in a different league right now. We need to get there. And this is just the first step playing in one of these games.
Boy, what a hit. Derrick Brooks is back in the neighborhood. Wow.
He runs the neighborhood.
I'm telling you, bring your best toys when you come to play.
Well, he's going to break the toys, I'll tell you. There, Derrick Brooks on the blitz. Mike Thomas just never had a chance. He explodes, and Mickey Andrews talked about that he has great vision. You talk about vision for a running back and a quarterback. He said he has great vision as a linebacker, sees everything. Sometimes doesn't do it always by the book, but has so much ability that he can take some chances.
By the way, we've had some great shots tonight from overhead. You know, NASCAR racing is really big in this part of the world, and the race fans who follow the circuit probably have spotted the Family Channel blimp at a number of races: Atlanta, Daytona, Darlington, Bristol, as well as the Indy 500. And we're glad they're with us tonight. The Family Channel blimp here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
You mentioned the car racing. Is there any chance Jerry Punch is in that balloon up there?
No.
The doctor?
I don't think so. That was going to be batted down at the line of scrimmage. Derrick Alexander. He's just gotten better as the ball game has gone on. 6'5", 260. He's only a sophomore. Chant continues here. 5:01 left to play in the ball game. 33-7, Florida State leading North Carolina.
33.
4th down, and they'll go for it, obviously.
The pass is complete in the left flat.
And now here comes a late flag into the pile. Leon Johnson did not pick up the first down. Clifton Abraham made the hit.
They're going to have to wash number 10's jersey because he has really been on the ground a bunch tonight, making tackles.
He's accompanied a lot of people to the ground as well.
He came to play.
No foul. No foul. No foul.
So let's take a break. 4:52 left in the ball game. It's all Seminoles. He's had a good night tonight, and he's disappointed. This is one that he wanted to see happen before he left here. 5-year student, but it was not to be this evening. Sean Jackson on the running play out of the shotgun.
I'm kind of surprised Charlie Ward's still in the ball game. We haven't seen the second-team quarterback, Danny Cannell, or John Stark, number 5. Usually they play him in the ball game, but they didn't tonight. It's kind of interesting that they've kept most of their starters in throughout the ball game. Howard Snellenberger with a big win over Arizona State.
Jackson Jackson to the outside, and he will pick up the first down. Let's see what the Seminoles have remaining. After this one here tonight, they've got Georgia Tech coming up the first week in October, then Miami on the 9th, Virginia, Wake Forest, at Maryland, at Notre Dame, NC State, and in Florida. Now, the only question is, I know Bobby will go any place at any time to play, but why would you schedule Notre Dame at that time of year when the weather could get you, Mike? And that could really be a detriment to what you do best.
Well, I think you're right. The key game, I think, is Virginia, because they catch them after Miami, and they're going to sell out everything against the Miami team. So Virginia's got them in a perfect spot. There's no good time to go to South Bend, Indiana. That'll be another game of the century.
That's one of the things when you're number one, though, and riding high, everybody puts you at the top of the list, and if they knock you off, it's their season.
You know, you bring up an interesting point, but I'll say this about Bobby Bowden, having coached against him 2 different schools. One was at Cincinnati and also at Kansas. That man there will play anybody.
Oh, he will.
And he'll play him at your house. He'll play you in the mall. He'll play anywhere you want to play. I mean, he plays all over the place.
On the offense. 5-yard penalty.
That pass was overthrown, and it hit a lineman, which is illegal touching, and that's the reason for the foul. By the way, one other point. Look, he's got the headsets on. He's not calling the plays for the first time in his career. And, you know, when I asked him about it yesterday, and I thought that maybe that was the thing that they talked him into doing it, he said, actually not. He said, I've been telling those guys for 2 or 3 years, you take a lot of pressure off me if you call the plays. He wants them to call it.
There's a time, though, I think you told me he's got that extra game plan in the back of his pocket. Believe me, when they get to that Miami game, that headset's going on.
I said, Bobby, what happens if things don't go well? He said, I reach in my back pocket. I said, what's there? And he said, that's my backup game plan. Warwick Dunn still on his feet. Don't forget, coming up immediately following this one, we'll head to Palo Alto, California. And what should be a really good one. Colorado, number 8 in the nation against number 20, the Stanford Cardinal.
Stanford has to find a way to stop Westbrook and Johnson on the outside without doubling them, because they're an 8-man front team, Stanford, so they're going to try to crowd the ball and stop the run. But Cordell Stewart will have opportunities to have Michael Westbrook and Charles Johnson one-on-one against people they have a great speed advantage on the outside.
Yeah, and Lamont Warren is running the ball extremely well. He's finally healthy.
And you're right, and an extra receiver out of the backfield.
Yep. Smith this time in the open field is taken down hard at the 20-yard line.
Got a lot of backup linemen in, but you still have Charlie Ward in. I wonder why we can't get the quarterbacks, why the other quarterbacks aren't coming in.
That's good for 25 yards.
Chad Bates, number 65, with a good block.
Sean Boyd finally put a stopper on him. That was good for 25. And hit in the backfield, Warwick Dunn. Going to be stopped for a loss, and it's big Marcus Jones, a sophomore from Jacksonville, North Carolina.
He's a comic book freak. He buys all the comic books he can find. Ask him who his favorite comic book character was, and he said Wolverine. I don't even know who Wolverine is. You know?
Michigan, you bet. I know.
No, they're not a comic book, though.
Oh.
Somebody will tell me someday who Wolverine is.
They fake the reverse. Boy, what a hit on Warwick Dunn. Well, tonight's Visa players of the game from Florida State University, Charlie Ward, over 300 yards, 69 rushing, 2 touchdowns. And for the University of North Carolina, Sean Crocker, 11 tackles, 8 solo, 1 fumble recovery. Part of their continuing effort to further the development of amateur athletics, Visa proud to donate $1,000 to each of these universities and $1,000 to the U.S. Olympic team on behalf of these athletes.
What a night for Charlie Ward. Complete control of this football game.
About to go under 1 minute left in this one. Carolina has a player shaken up at the 23. Looks like it's Oscar Sturgis.
How about the tie, Texas and Syracuse? We talked about that game. It felt like Texas football team is really...
And Mike, to finish your point on the Texas-Syracuse game, you saw Syracuse a week ago Thursday, and you said their coaches were concerned about the heat down in Austin. I don't know if it played a part or not. I know 2 missed field goals in the ball game caused a big headache for Paul Pasqualone and his staff. 21-21 tie. Pitch to Marquette Smith, and it's being whistled down. While we're talking about other games, also congratulations to Eric Zier of Georgia. 13 of 19 for 317 today and 4 touchdowns against Texas Tech. And that broke Zeke Brakowski's record school career passing yardage.
Ball short on the offense.
Good game by Eric Zier. He was a good, solid quarterback.
And you know, Lloyd Hill in that same game, the wide receiver for Texas Tech, 10 receptions, 169 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's an awfully good one.
And he has good quarterback, Robert Hall, throwing that football to him.
John Walsh of BYU today, 29 of 45, 332 yards against Colorado State in a win. And I'll tell you what, you're going to see some footballs in the air coming up immediately after this one with Stanford and Colorado.
And our game next Saturday is going to be interesting. Penn State with a win over Iowa, and Doug Graber, who's done a nice job at the Rutgers program, to take the Scarlet Knights into Penn State to try to get a victory.
Clarence Williams with the carry, and that's going to be the final play of this football game. Clock has been stopped. People are coming out onto the field. It still shows 9 seconds. Charlie Ward shaking hands with some of his competitors tonight.
It's the first time they've caught him to shake hands.
It's a good point. Coming up next, number 8 against number 20, Colorado and Stanford. So quite a night for Charlie Ward. And I don't think there's much doubt that his Florida State Seminoles are the number 1 team in the land right now. And was caught by Corey Holiday at the 30-yard line, and the ball game is over. That's it from Kenan Stadium. Our final score, Florida State 33, North Carolina 7. For Mike Godfrey and Adrian Karsten, Ron Franklin saying good night, everybody. Right now, let's join Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson in Palo Alto, California.
'92 brought Stanford its first 10-win season in more than a half century. At this time last year, the Cardinal traveled to South Bend.
To the 10, to the 5, touchdown, Florida State. 3 weeks in a row, Derrick Brooks has scored a touchdown.
The Bobby Bowden Show is brought to you today by Coca-Cola Classic. Always a winner, always Coca-Cola. By Golden Flake, the crispiest chip in Florida. By Barnett Bank, your bank for life. By LDDS Long Distance.
And win a huge ACC game over 13th ranked North Carolina. Hello and welcome to the Bobby Bowden Show. And Coach, congratulations, FSU 4-0 now.
It was a big win, buddy, and it was a tough one. I tell you, North Carolina's made us earn every bit of it. And we had a great crowd up there. You mentioned we were talking a while ago about Bernie Slager, who's been in the hospital, and our boys presented the game ball to Bernie Slager. They want him to have that ball.
Somebody's going to bring that football back to Tallahassee and present it to Bernie, who is still in the hospital, but we understand doing well in his recovery from bypass surgery.
Well, I sure hope so, because we missed him at the ball game.
Florida State in a battle royal with the North Carolina Tar Heels coming up. Highlights of that ball game. And a little later on our show, Burt Reynolds and Vic Prinzi re-celebrate a great moment in Florida State football. Stay with us. Florida State Seminoles in action up at Kenan Memorial Stadium. 54,100 saw Florida State battle North Carolina for first place in the ACC. And, Coach, that crowd was really into the football game.
You know, I think North Carolina's for real. Now, they might have got beaten up the other night. They might have lost their quarterback for a while. Who was that? Matt Fryer. Matt Fryer running the kickoff back, did a great job. We've got the ball. We lost the toss for the first time. And here's a pass out to Vanover. Vanover finally got back into the receiving column this week, didn't he? He caught about 5 catches. Yeah. He's been kind of silent this year, but he had 5 catches. But we got the first drive. We moved the heck out of it, but then we started fumbling. We started fumbling the ball and just, you know, we just stop ourselves all the time. We just stop ourselves.
Very uncharacteristic. 4 turnovers in that football game. 1 interception throw coming up.
Well, we threw our first interception. Charlie threw his first interception. I'm not sure if that was his. I don't know what happened there. That was I call an errant pass.
Sean Boyd picks it off.
But
Carolina.
And I think you probably have to give Carolina credit. You know, they did a good job. Boy, defense. Look at her. Alexander. How do you stop Johnson & Johnson? With Alexander and Alexander. That's right. You know what? Our 2 Alexanders. Ken Alexander was our leading tackler. He gets overshadowed a lot by Derrick, but goodness, who was that? Was that
Court?
Was that Court? Oh, Court from New Orleans. Chris Court has really come on. He's one of our supreme pass rushers. He and Todd McIntosh. I think McIntosh had 3 sacks the other night.
Court had 2.
And Court had 2. And another guy that was around the ball all night, Derrick Alexander at tackle.
And that guy right
number
there
10.
was around the ball a lot too.
Well, that's understood. Watch number 8 here. Here's an excellent picture. Watch number 8. He nearly knocked that ball out. You see it?
He did that last week.
Last week he knocked it out against Clemson. Yeah, and Brooks, we recovered it. There's a touchdown. There's a touchdown. They got on us, and that's a shame.
First time this year Florida State has trailed in a football.
That's exactly right, and those things are going to happen. But there's old Brooks. He
didn't look too happy.
Yeah, no. Well, that's what I like about him. He's got a little pride. Nice catch to Kevin Knox in there. Charlie did a great. You know, it's funny. I get to expecting so much out of him that I'm thinking he didn't have a good game, and yet he had for 303 yards, you know, and 2 touchdown passes. And I know he's better than that. He's even better than that, you know.
Career high 27 completions.
Yeah.
He didn't do too good, did he?
Isn't that amazing? Pat McNeil leading the interference there on the run. And here's a nice pass in there to Mr. Knox. Is that Knox again, or was that Kez?
That's Kez.
That's Kez. I can tell the way Kez gets up. He rolls back on the seat of his britches and rocks. He rocks to get up. Well, good blocking in there by number 7. Hernandez. Jesus. There's Charlie on a nice run. Good offensive line did a great job. I know Charlie is proud of that offensive line. But see, that was a late hit there. People are really picking on us now. It's really making me upset because we're kind of the champions, you know. Mm-hmm. And people are hitting us late, and we're letting them get by with it. Here's a great run, a good block. He picks a good block by Vanover out here. Picks up at number 28. And that's Warwick Dunn from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He's a pure freshman. But he's a little bit better in the open field than any of our other runners. And I think they just kind of put this play in designated for him. But you can see why in the open. And he's got world-class speed, Gene. Warwick Dunn. We're so proud of him. I think everybody knows how he tragically lost his mother this time a year ago when she was murdered.
This was his 2nd touchdown catch
of the season. That's right. He caught one last week, didn't he?
He's excited.
Yeah, well, he really is. There's John Nance there from Bartow making a good play along with number 10. Look at number 10 take on that blocker. And number 10, again, I said last week, I don't think any defensive player in the country is playing better than number 10. And they're not. Look at there's Todd McIntosh. Our speed is beginning to show. Tyrant Marion played. Roberson had the number 1 challenge of the week. And that's to not let that tight end of North Carolina, who I thought was excellent, whip him, and he didn't. He did not let him whip him. Well, there's some pressure there. Look at that pressure. Lord, there's Derrick. Who knocked that ball out? Number 10?
I think so.
Number 10 knocked the ball out. See? When I say, who's playing better than him right now, defensive in the country?
Derrick.
I think you take your backs and linebackers and linemen, all of them. He's playing right now better than any. He's probably playing better than anybody in the country right now.
Tie game 7-7. Seminoles try to get something on the board here late.
Yeah, and here's Sean Jackson. Some good running. But you see how well they hit? No, Sean took it to him, though. Sean took it to him. Watch Charlie on this. Oh, great scramble. And doesn't he find somebody to hit it? Yeah, look here. Goodness gracious alive. Was that Matt? No, it was number 22. Marquette Smith gave us a lift the other night in that ball game. He gave us a lift. Now, his statistics might not look that good, but he made some key runs. Bentley kicks a field goal. We take a 10-7 lead right before the half.
And at halftime, that's a big score, always to give you a little momentum going into the locker room. It's 10-7.
Yeah, we needed to be ahead of them because, buddy, they had momentum. Their crowd, record crowd. Oh, it was a heck of a setting for a game.
48 seconds left. The Seminoles take a 10-7 lead. And, folks, the second half belonged to FSU and Derrick Brooks and that Seminole defense. Coming up, a great moment in Florida State football with Burt Reynolds.
You let the grass grow real high. Those real fast backs couldn't run through it.
Well, there's only one problem with it, though. Florida State's fast backs could do it. Tough ball game the first part.
It also doesn't hurt your passing.
No, it does not hurt your passing, and thank goodness we brought some with us that day.
Yeah.
But halftime was 3-3 score. Mike Rendina kicks a field goal to tie it up. But we got a great performance in the second half out of Ricky Stockstill.
And my guy.
Your guy, Ricky Williams. What a running back.
Oh, I love to watch this kid run, and he had 135 yards, 15 rushes. I mean, but what I loved about this kid was that he gave it everything he had every time he had the ball.
Every play. But, you know, there's another guy in that ball game, Bert, that was probably bringing us to know pretty fair country punter.
He went on to become almost a legend in punting, I think.
Well, I tell you what, he's still out there kicking the ball from
Ron Stark.
Ron Stark had 6 punts, averaged 48.8 yards. And on one, he showed his versatility as an athlete. He scrambled on a 4th down and picked up a very crucial first down and kept a drive alive. And Florida State makes a trip up to Notre Dame and beats the Fighting Irish 19-13. Bert, it's going to be a little bit different game this year.
Yes, it is going to be a very different game this year, but let me just warn them. If we go out to kick a field goal, the guy that kicks our field goals runs a 40 in 4-4.
That's not bad. So Florida State beats Notre Dame 19-13.
3, and it's going to take a great defensive show here in the second half.
Yeah, boy, Scott Bentley kicked that ball so high you can't believe it. Look at it. I mean, it was high and far. He's really improved. Boy, our defense just goes, look at that. Who made that play there? Was that
Todd McIntosh?
Todd McIntosh had a good, yeah. There's Ken Alexander, who led our team in tackles. Our defense stops them. We get the ball and drive in for winning touchdown. Charlie here throwing a little pass out to Vanover again.
Oh, that was Kevin Knox.
Kevin Knox, that's right. Vanover was out at the time.
This was a Kevin Knox drive.
It seems like he and Charlie have a drive
in the third
every
quarter,
ball game. Yeah. It's always the third quarter. Those two get together. Now here's a strike to Kevin Knox right here for the touchdown. Good catch, good concentration, and just an excellent job by Knox to, Charlie Ward to Knox. Going up and getting the football. We used to not get those kind of catches, you know, and that now the maturity of Knox and some of the Fryer and some of these older receivers, McCorvey and them, is beginning to show.
Now, you know, first time on the evening, some Seminole fans may start to relax.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Boy, that comes you, oh my goodness, there's that number 10 up there again, along with a whole defensive front. But look at our defense. Look at
Alexander.
Ken Alexander and Brooks there. Rabeau at linebacker, Horner at linebacker from Miami. There's a Coles getting an interception. Nice interception and a nice return. This was a little bit more aggressive return than the one he gets at Duke when he just stepped out of bounds. He fought there and made some yards. And
his second career interception.
Exactly. Great, good fake by Charlie. And here's Lonnie. Lonnie Johnson has really given us some good leadership. He has really given us some leadership. I think he played more last in that ball game with North Carolina too. And but here's Charlie. Just miss a touchdown. We catch it, but his foot is just steps on. We'll rerun it here. Watch. See his foot. Oh, if he could have got that foot down. Oh goodness, just a little bit more. But that's an excellent pass by Charlie. Excellent catch by Kez. Bentley kicks the extra point there. Danny Cannell held. We didn't get our second-team quarterback in the ball game. It was going to be Stark's turn, but look at the pass rush. And here comes number 10. Number 10 picks it off, run the end zone. Now, this is the third game in a row that he's scored as a defensive player. Number 10 there.
Isn't something, Coach? He had not picked off a pass in his career until 2 weeks ago at Duke. And
now he's got 3 scores in a row. Number 10, watch him. Now, there's a fine young man right there. He's a good, solid A.B. student. He's just a wonderful kid. I know his mother back in Pensacola, and his sister and all of his family. I know how proud they are of him because his family means a whole lot to him. And that young man's got a great future. Academically, in the business world, probably professionally. Who is that there? Is that
Chris Cowart?
That's Chris Cowart from New Orleans, and Todd McIntosh. Boy, they had what, 5 sacks between them. Gosh, Derrick Alexander played another good game at tackle. Tyrant Marin played another good ball game. Amella got to play some in there at nose guard. John Nance had his usual quiet game. And Connolly blocked good on our offensive line. Deserves a lot of credit. Shiver in there at center. He and McNeil and Tyre at guard, and Connolly at offensive tackle, and Farrell at offensive tackle, Laureano, Hernandez, Donaldson played some in there, and those guys really did good. Now here's Floyd catching the ball. Look how intent they are on hitting. Look how intent they are hitting. They are determined to stop us in our tracks. They really hit us. We fumbled 3 times in the ball game from hits.
Well, this is vintage Charlie Ward here, folks.
Also, this is vintage Charlie Ward right here. Nice block down there. Who was that? Floyd made that block.
Sean Jackson.
Was that Sean that made that block? I knew it was one of those big backs. But Sean really gives you some good leadership. You know, as a senior, he gives you some excellent leadership. And here's Sean here taking it up inside and giving us some good running. There's that little old Marquette Smith came in, threw in some timely runs in that ball game. I mean, they really kept drives going, eating the clock up when we had the game won. Now here comes the reverse to Vanover, and he nearly scores us. Oh, we got some people. Come on, get up and throw your block. He was. That guy does work hard for that goal line. You get him around the goal line, he'll fight like mad to get in there. And but anyway, big William Floyd, watch him run over this safety here. Watch Floyd run right over this safety. Right. See if we're not going to block him, then Floyd has to block him while he runs the ball. So here he's his own blocker and ball carrier. He goes in standing up, and that's a pretty good guy he hit there, because that guy, I think he blocked 2 punts in the Peach Bowl.
Walker is the MVP of the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, and he's a heck of a football player. But that's Kate. Now look here at number 10. See the shot that number 10 put on him here? And there's number 47, Roberson, who, look here. There's why number 10 might be probably the best defensive player in the country right now.
There is Derrick, and the Dominators coach is what I nicknamed that defense.
Well, they deserve a great hand. You know, a lot of people say we've won 4 games. I say we won 5. When we beat Houston for Mickey Andrews last May, that was another win for Florida State.
33-7 final score. Seminoles 4-0 and heading into an open date weekend where they have a chance to heal some nicks and bruises. Stay with us.